record this meeting, which I will put up on our website, which hopefully you can see in front of you. Welcome, my name is Teresa, Teresa Smead. I have been at Netball North Harbour for a few years now, running all our junior programs. Probably welcoming school coordinators tonight from all around the North Shore, Hibiscus Coast and Warkworth, one of our newer competitions that we've got running up the way. If you have any questions throughout what I'm going to talk about today, please just unmute, or you can use the chat box, and hopefully I can answer any questions that you may have. The purpose of this meeting is to welcome you all back for another year of netball. I mean, in this heat in February, it doesn't seem that we need to be thinking about netball and winter sports, but as we know, things can get pretty busy and hectic. And unfortunately, term one is the busiest time for you guys in terms of getting all your players ready and parents sorted and information out to everybody, and then entering the teams towards the end of term one, and then we kick off in term two. I have sent out all the dates to you for 2026. We do start a bit later this year because of Anzac. You know, we come back from the school holidays and then we've got another holiday to contend with, being Anzac Day. So we're kind of kicking off after Anzac Day, which is the beginning of May for our competitions, which is pretty normal. Luckily this year we don't have to have Matariki putting anything in there, because that's falling through the July school holidays, so that's helping us a lot with our dates this year. And of course we tend to finish in August, end of August. We have a big secondary schools tournament called Eunice, and we try and get all of our netball done before that happens, because we lose all our umpires and a lot of our staff heading off to that tournament. What you should see in front of you is our Netball North Harbour website. And on this website, we do have a page set up for you, the school coordinators. It's under this Registrations 2026 page or menu bar, and you'll see here a primary coordinator 2026 information. So this is the place that you can go to get all the information you need to help you get your teams ready for the year. You'll also see here a club and school list on this page, and if you click into that, it actually lists all our clubs and schools, and you shall see on that page there's a list of all our primary schools here and our Hibiscus Coast schools over here. Basically those, if I click into any of those schools, it'll take you to your registration form for Sporty. Sporty is the platform we use to register all our players and to register the teams for 2026. So if I click into Albany School here, it will go straight to the form that your parents and your parents, because your players aren't of age, but your parents will register their players onto. This is the same form that you will see under Sporty when you log in under your own login. That will take you to your school platform, and there will be a folder there for you that says Netball 2026, and then it will have the Netball Registration Form 2026, and that's the one that you can copy and send out to all your parents to get them registered for the 2026 year. So I have put some of that information. Oh, and I should also explain too, if you go to this registration form process on our website, it also gives you a big explanation as to how you go about registering your players, how you log in to Sporty. So if you don't have a Sporty login, that's the first thing you need to get, and you need to contact Sporty directly to get that. If you need help with that, just email me. But when you see your registration form there, it'll be specific for your school. So basically, you can copy that registration form and send it, like the link, to the parents, and then they can go in and complete the registration form for their children. And then you will see them popping up on your team builder, which I'll show you later. And that's where you register your teams. And then when you put your team in, you can just drag and drop the kids that are going to be in that team for the year. So this is a good place to have a look on if you need any help with instructions and team registration. So that's under that registration menu bar as well. Yeah, so our meeting tonight I've got on here. Down the right-hand side, I've got a lot of forms that we use throughout the year. And also I've got the dates, and I've broken all the dates down for you, so you can pull off just the Northcote dates or just the Future Ferns dates, the Hibiscus Coast dates, or whatever. So they're all there and broken down for you. And we've also got all our dates on our 2026 calendar up here as well. So if you click into that, it has everything that's coming up. So obviously not much in this month, but as you can see, as we get through to May, bang, we're into it. So everything's up there as well. The first thing is basically finding out how many kids you've got that want to play netball this year. And once you have an indication, or I don't know how it works with your school, you can send them like that form that I've just talked about, and then they sign up. Team registration this year. So we'll go into Team Builder a bit later, but team registration closes this year on the 27th of March. Okay, so that is the date, that's the deadline basically of you knowing how many teams you have that you want to enter into play netball this year. You do not have to have the players in those teams, but you need to have the teams in Team Builder. You might have 2 year 6 teams, 1 year 5 team, or whatever you may have. Going back a bit, for those who are new, if you're not sure where your teams can play, obviously at Northcote, we offer at the big netball courts there, we offer from year 1 up to year 6, and they do play at different days. So our year 1 to 3 teams play on a Monday, as do our year 4 teams. Our year 5 and 6 teams at Northcote play on Wednesdays. This is all after school. The Hibiscus Coast teams at Edith Hopper Park, the year 1 to 3 kids play on a Tuesday afternoon. Our year 4 and 5s play on a Thursday, and our year 6s play on a Wednesday. Junior Netties is the competition we refer to that's played at Westlake Girls on a Saturday morning, and that is only for year 4, 5 and 6 teams. We don't do the babies there because we can't store any equipment over there. And then at Warkworth this year, we're excited to, last year we had year 1 to 4, but we're also introducing 5 and 6 competition on Tuesday afternoons up at Warkworth. So those are sort of where the competitions are. Once you get an indication of how many kids want to play, then we'll sort of get an idea of how many teams and where and what they will be playing at. I've put on this thing here, this page, important dates. Obviously, team registration closes on the 27th of March, but we also have, see a typo, we also have time requests and also players registered into their teams closes on the 28th of April, but I will send out information as we go through the months as to what needs to be happening. We've got a couple of other important dates. These are for your coaches and managers. We've got primary information evenings. There's 2 of them after the school holidays. Those are for year 4, 5 and 6 only. We've got some informal coaching courses coming up for our year 4 to 6 coaches on the 1st of April, and also at Hibiscus Coast on the 29th. And we're also offering one up at Warkworth on the 28th of April as well. So this is all pre-season stuff, and this is happening after Christmas, after the school holidays, the April school holidays. But again, I will remind you about these, but if you're wondering when, you can always look on this page and see that information there. Future Ferns, this is the year 1 to 3, the little babies. They've got a coaches info evening also in April, and one at Warkworth on that 28th of April. But again, I will send you lots of information. So like I say, this is just, for you to scroll through when you're looking for things. Now, composition of teams. This is kind of important and something that the schools need to sort of work out, and this can be very tricky for some smaller schools. But ideally, this is how we sort of play the game. So year 1 and 2, it's a 4-a-side game. It's a skill session, and then they play 2 8-minute halves for these little kids. So we recommend a team size of up to 6. All right, could be 5. You can have 4. At this age group, they can borrow players from the opposition. There is no competition, so we don't care, you know, as long as the kids get out there and play. But if you're putting teams together, maximum of 6 is good. More than that, then you've got kids standing on the sideline for a while. Year 3, it's a 5-a-side game, and we recommend a maximum of 7 in that team size. Year 4 and 5, we flip to 7-a-side, and we recommend a maximum number of 9, because they do rotations for year 4 and 5, and it's very tricky if you've got 10 or 11 kids, a lot of kids standing on the sideline for a long time. And year 6, we don't do rotations. It's a normal netball 7-a-side game, and so we say maximum up to 10 on you know, so that's 3 on the sideline. But yeah, over here we have information about what we provide and what the schools kind of need to provide in terms of practice balls for the teams or whatever. Umpires don't kick in until year 4. So for the year 1 to 3, if you've got any of those teams, they don't need umpires. They will need a coach, quotation mark, but just basically a parent who's keen to help them with their skill sessions and run the game with the other coach from the other team. So that's year 1 to 3, but year 4 and 5 and 6, that's when the umpires kick in. So I'll talk about those a little bit as well later. Our philosophy for our junior players, okay, it's all about participation and learning the game. We want kids to play, we want them to participate. So going back to those numbers, if your numbers don't add up, like you don't have 9 year 4 or year 5 players, but you've got 3, you know, you've got to put in a combined team, you can put in combined teams of age groups. What we ask is that they're a combined age group of year 5 and 6, and they would normally play up in the year 6 grade, year 4 and 5, and they would play in the year 5 grade. And you can have year 3s in a year 4 team if you want to, and have them playing 7-a-side if you think they're up to it. But we don't like having year 4s in a year 6 team, because it's 2 years above their age level and group and skill level, and they could get kind of, you know, they're on a court with a whole lot of year 6s. It can get a little bit scary. So, but however, if you have 1 year 6 player who's signed up and, I don't know, 6 or 7 year 5 players and a couple of year 4s, we can talk about putting that team into the year 5 competition. So basically, we don't want the older kids playing down. The younger kids playing up's okay, but playing down is the tricky part of it. But if your numbers aren't adding up and you need us to have a look at, we can give dispensation for, say, maybe a year 6 player to play down, but it needs to come through us first before you finalise those numbers, so we know exactly what's going on, what we're looking at, and then we can make that call. But yeah, we don't want kids to miss out. So as much as we can help you, we'll help you with all of that. But please come to us if you're having any problems with that. Yeah, so I'm saying here, like, please try and stick to the minimum numbers for the teams, because there is a rule that every child has to play at least half a game. So we're trying to stop the coaches putting the strongest players on for 2/3 of the game and the weakest player only getting 1/4. So that's one of our little rules. We also say that over the 14 weeks, every kid has to be on court for a fair amount of time, like, you know, barring sickness and injuries and things like that. But again, we don't want the strongest players playing every week and only 3 other players being rotated out every week. So we try and keep an eye on all of that stuff, and the coaches and managers are required to fill in team sheets each week so that we can keep an eye on what they're doing with the players and how that's working. Often if a child is missing out on court time, we will hear about it via parents and stuff as well. So we often get in touch with the school if anything like that starts happening. Boys are very welcome to play, but we only have a maximum of 3 boys on court at once. So you can still have 4 boys registered in your team, but you must only have the 3 playing on court at once. And we do have a rule about them being in the goal circle, and I explained that to the coaches in the info evening, but yeah, if you've got boys playing, they're certainly allowed to play. Like I talked about before, combination age teams, you can enter mixed age teams, but let's, anything that's looking a bit hairy, please come to us. And if you have tight numbers of teams, so you've only got 7 players in your, well, let's say 22 kids sign up, is that right? 7 threes, yep. 22 kids sign up, and so you can have your top 2 teams, we would say, stack with the 7 players, and then put 8 in the bottom team, because we have a rule that you can, because the teams are graded, and the top team can pull players up from the bottom, but the bottom teams can't pull players from the top down. This is in the competition. This is only for year 4, 5, and 6. Year 1, 3, we don't care. But the year 4, 5, 6 teams. So if you've got, say, 22 players, stack the bottom teams up with the more players so that they can go up and they can help out those higher graded teams. You will need to probably put in a time request as well, and I'll talk about those a bit. Can't borrow from higher graded teams unless you have only two teams and they've both only got 7 players in it. You can write to us and ask for dispensation for players from that top team to play down to the lower graded team. But we will talk to you about that and what requirements will be set around that. So basically you can't put your strongest team into the bottom team, is what we're saying. But so if you've only got 2 teams with 7 players, you can have dispensation to have the top team go down to the lower team. But you'll again need to put in a time request so they don't play at the same time for that to happen. Why do we grade, and why is grading important? We get this question a bit, and the reason being that we want similar ability kids playing against similar teams. Otherwise, it's not much fun for a team that's not very strong to be playing against top teams, or strong teams, I should say. In the smaller competitions, we can't do much about it with the numbers, but definitely in Northcote, I think with the year 6s, for instance, we end up with about 10 grades. And those combination year 5 and 6 teams, if you're worried about the year 5s playing up, they do tend to be in those lower grades. So that's why we grade, so that people are kind of, getting a more even game rather than being smashed every week or winning lots. Do you need to grade your players? It depends on how many teams you have or how many kids you have that want to play netball. Some of the schools do trials and put the strongest teams the kids together and the not so strong team kids together. That's quite good for year 6, maybe year 5, but year 4, I wouldn't worry about it. Year 4, they can still play with their friends, as such, and we don't need to do trials at that age, but definitely in that year 5 to 6 level, it's not a bad idea if you've got a number of teams, because that means that when you number your teams, which we don't name our teams at Netball North Harbour because we have so many, and we will end up with lots of magics and stars and all stars and things like that. So we just give them numbers, or you will give them numbers. Always your top team would be number 1, and we number them so that they you just basically, so if your school team is Albany. It will be Albany 6 bar 1 is your top team, your top year 6 team. You may only have 1 year team, that's fine, there's still 6 bar 1. And your second team would be 6 bar 2. You don't need to put your school name down when you create the teams in Team Builder, you just need to put the numbers, all right? So hopefully that's clear. Any questions, you just come back to me and ask, and I will help you. So I talk about the bottom teams and what you can do if you're short. You can add players throughout the season. It's called an additional player. Because if you've got a new kid that comes to the school and they want to play netball, you can certainly add them to a team halfway through the season, or you have a lot of kids go down injured, and so these things happen. Now, any schools that play at Kids Play, you can use players from teams that play at Kids Play at Netball North Harbour, but they need to be registered with Netball North Harbour. They can't just turn up and rock up and play, because Kids Play and Netball North Harbour are 2 separate organisations, and those kids are not registered at Netball North Harbour. So, but you can use players from Kids Play. If you've got schools entered at Northcote and at Junior Netties on a Saturday, players can play in both Northcote and Junior Netties if they have to fill in for other teams, because again, they are separate competitions. So that is allowed. So hopefully that answers any of those questions. Obviously, we've put the fees down here. I did send the letter out that came through from the board, but that is per team. So just you might add uniforms and stuff on that for your team fee, but time request, all the time requests, if you put one of those in for the season, it's $20 for the season per request. Any additional players, those new players that come in, it's a $10 cost. And we've also got a late default fee. So this was put in to stop players just not turning up and not letting anybody know. We like to be told if any team is not going to turn up, and by about midday, 1 o'clock, so we can inform the opposition so that they aren't getting into cars after school and travelling and getting down there and finding no team to play. But I will again remind you all about these as the season goes on. Time requests. So these are put in for the season, and these are when you have a umpire who might be umpiring 2 of your teams, and so obviously she can't umpire them at the same time. So you put in a request to have Team 1 and Team 2 not play at the same time because they share an umpire. Or you may have a coach who is coaching more than one team, and again, have them so they're not playing at the same time. So that's what the time requests are for. They are only to come through via the school, not through parents, and they are not for things like the coach can't get there for a 4 o'clock game, because there are lots of coaches who can't get there for a 4 o'clock game, and they've got to be just really netball reasons where around umpires and coaches. They're not there for dance classes or anything like that. It's purely just umpires, coaches, or whatever. And we will look at any request that comes in and decide whether we can do it or not. So there, if you click this, it will take you through to the form that you need to fill in, and then I get that, and then we're good to go. Well, once I have a look and see what the request is for, and then I can let you know if it's all good to go, and then that will be there for the entire season. You can put in requests halfway through the season if you wish, but just bearing in mind that they won't be there for those earlier games. Umpires is another question and another thing to sort. So year 4, 5, and 6, they all need an umpire. Parents can umpire, but we would like them, please, to have done one of Sharon's courses at least. Sharon Fraser is our umpiring whiz at Netball North Harbour, and she runs courses. She's got some coming up in March, beginner junior umpiring for year 6 and 7s, and for Netball 101 rules, which is for year 8 and up to adult. She also runs a lot of classes in the April school holidays. So if you've got people who are keen to be umpires, please look on our website, and we do put information out there as to what is available if they want to sign up and do a course. Most umpires at primary are children, and most of them would probably be intermediate and up age level. If you're looking for umpires, check with the kids at school, the parents, if there's any siblings who would like to umpire or who have umpired and could umpire your school teams. They are, like I say, children, and they get paid $10 by the team to the umpire. If you've got your own umpires, you may have your own arrangements with them, but we have a small pool of umpires, and if you have any umpires that are used by us, it is a $10. That's what we sort of say the cost for an umpire per game. If you are really struggling finding umpires, Sharon Fraser is the person to talk to, because she may have some kids sort of been through her courses who are looking for a team to umpire. Primary is a good place for umpires to start, even parents. Yeah, and this year we're running an umpiring information evening on Wednesday, the 29th of April, where we're just going to go over a few things for the umpires at primary, because there are a few things that we do and don't do because the kids are so young and they're all learning. The players, that is, so there's lots of stepping or footwork, and so we talk about how we can manage that as umpires. But yeah, so look around, talk to your local intermediate schools, colleges, if they've got kids who are keen to umpire primary games. Yeah, or if any problems with that, talk to Sharon Fraser. The other thing with umpires, and we ran into a few of this bit last year, it is important that the umpires do know what they're doing. If they're learning and they're brand new, it's good to put them on those younger age groups like the year 4 and 5s. However, if you've got a very strong year 6 team, it's important that they actually have an umpire that can do their level of game. And I'm talking about the speed, because the year 6s in the top age groups, you know, the top grades, they can pass that ball really quickly. And even in year 5, actually, to be fair, the grade 1 and grade 2 players, they move that ball along really quickly, and we've got to have umpires that can keep up with those games. So we tend to go around and check games as well, and if we see umpires that are not up to the standard that they should be, we will often come back to the school. We might talk to the parents or the coach on the sideline as well, but we often come back to the school and say, hey, this kid is not up to scratch, or it could be a parent even, and they need some help, and we're willing to help them if they are willing to accept that help. And sometimes, like last year, we did run into a couple of situations where they weren't so willing, and it can be quite frustrating for all. So it is good to try and, yeah, especially if you know you've got some strong top teams, to give them the umpires that they deserve. Yeah, but I won't get too much into that. But if we have any concerns, we'll be in touch with the school anyway as the season goes on. And in the competition round, it does become fairly important, and we do, on our grade 1, year 6 at Northcote, we do allocate umpires, and we have to make sure that they are at a certain level, just to control the sideline more than anything. Any questions so far? No? Please put anything in the chat if you have a question, and I'll try and answer it. School camps and productions. We know that our young primary school kids are very busy little bees, and they have school camps that happens, particularly in term 2, and also sometimes productions can affect when they can play netball. There is a form here. If you click here, school camps and productions, please let us know if you've got anything from May through to September, so that basically during grading, if those teams are not available to play, I leave them off the draw, and then in the competition round, they'll have to default. We don't do makeup games, unfortunately. It's just too hard. There's not enough time in the day, or people are so busy, and the court space is very hard to find. So just let us know if you've got a team who is not going to be around on a certain day or whatever. And I, again, will remind you all about these as we get closer to competition time. So please be aware of your school calendars, is what I'm saying, and know what is coming up that could affect a team not being available to play. Scoring, we use the Sporty scoring app to score our games. I will send information out about that, but basically when you register a team, you'll see a code come up on the side of that team, and that is their scoring code, their team access code, I think it's called. And the scorers, parents will download the app, scoring app, and they will enter that code, and all their team information will come up, and they will be able to score the games. If you look under draws and results on our website, you'll see instructions here, scoring game day app, and that will have some videos for parents and things to help them when it comes time to doing their scoring. Again, I'll send more information out about that later. Defaults and cancellations, obviously I talked about if teams defaulting. We do like it to come through the schools rather than a parent. And I will often confirm if a team does pull out, if I haven't heard from the school, and say, hey, did you know this team has pulled out? Because sometimes the schools don't know. Cancellations, we very rarely cancel netball, although every time the Met service now sends out a heavy rain warning, we get all these emails from people going, are you going to cancel? Are you going to cancel? We don't tend to cancel. We may cancel the younger children's year 1 to 3 if we have to, but the older ones we tend to keep playing. But it's fingers crossed, who knows? But we don't tend to. And if we were to cancel, we would let you all know by email, put it out on our social media, etc. And just finally on this page, a little note about photos and videos. So we take photos of the kids playing netball for promotional bits and bobs. And there's also live videos of the games in the arena. What we ask is if there's anybody out there who has children at their schools that can't be videoed or filmed or whatever, or have their photos taken, you need to let us know, and we'll make note of what team that child is in and make sure that they doesn't go out there. But that's just a note for you all to see. The arena are the 2 indoor courts, and only year 6s play in there, and those are the only games that are live streamed. The streaming is a pay per view, so people have to actually pay to see it. But it'd be quite nice for grandparents or people like that, or dads or whatever, who can't get, or mums who can't get to a game because they might be away on a business trip or something. They can still watch the game if their child is playing in the arena on a certain night. And yeah, but if you've got anybody that can't do that, you just need to let us know. So that's this page with all that information. Like I say, a lot. If you have any questions, come back to me. Now, how do you register your, I don't know, can you see this? Hopefully you can see this. I'm logging into Sporty, the back end. My Sporty looks a bit different from your Sporty. Oh, invalid use password. Just bear with me for a moment. I'm just going to get it up on here. New share. Can everybody see this new screen? Can someone? Oh, no. Sorry, people. I should have done this. Yes, right. So when you log into Sporty, you'll get this dashboard, and it will have your organisation name up here, not mine. I have a lot more than you will see. Your registration form, hold on. I'm going to see if that's sharing. Yep, cool. If you can see that. Yep. Okay, so the online registration form will be on your dashboard under online registrations. You'll see 2026 forms here, and then you'll see netball. I have a lot more than you will see, but it's this netball registration form here. When you click into it, or do this pencil edit here, this will take you into the form and you will see all the information that the parents will need to fill out. There's a whole lot of Netball New Zealand stuff in there and Netball North Harbour stuff that you cannot change, but you can add another question if you've got something specific to your school, and that could be, what is your favourite positions? And if you they're going to put that question in, make it a multi-choice so they can click on their favourite positions, not write them, because if they write them, it's a bugger to sort everything out. But yeah, you can put things like that in there, or dress size or something like that. I don't know, but that is the form, and that's how you can edit it. And then if you want to get the link to send it to your parents, you just copy the link here, copy link, and you can insert that link into your social media, into your emails, or whatever it is that you send out to your parents for information, so that they can sign up. We can put it on your school website and they can sign up for their child to play netball for 2026. Yep, all good with that. There might be a couple of other forms on there as well. This netball scorers, do not worry about that. As soon as a parent signs into the app, they will pop up on this form here, but you don't need to worry about that. And like I say, all this other stuff that you won't have. You may have this administrative volunteer registration, but maybe not. Anyway, so Team Builder is where you register your teams. Team Builder on the dashboard, click into that. Now, again, what I see is different from what you see. So we've got all our competitions in here, and if I go to primary, so this is the primary one here. If I click into this, this is kind of what you're going to see. Okay, so when you come to register your team, you can go into, so this is just for this one here is just for primary and the junior netties registration. This is just for Northcote. Maybe I'll change that to Northcote and junior netties. And you can see here, so if you have a year 1 and 2 team, you click on this add team and you just need to put in your team number. For these guys, for the babies, you just would put in, if they're a year 1 team, you can just put in 1-1. You can give the year 1 to 3 teams a name if you wish, but put in what age group they are, year 1 or 2, so that at least I know what age group they are. But you would just add the team and write the team in there. Oh, we've got a team already registered. Brilliant. So we've got Waiheke, who have registered their year 4 team. Okay, so you don't need to write the word year. I'm going to take that out. You just need to put 4-1. That's all I need to see. 4-1, and the Waiheke or whatever team they are will come up, will automatically be created. So that is how you add your teams, depending on where they are playing. So just be wary of, if they're a Westlake team, this is the Westlake Junior Netties, year 4, 5 and 6, primary at Northcote 6, 5 and 4, and so forth. There's also a different, so Hibiscus will see something different, and Warkworth will see something different as well. You'll have your grades down there. So just make sure you're entering them in the right grade. Eventually as well, we don't have any people registered yet, but there will be a list coming down this side of all your players that have registered. So if you're wanting to see who has registered and not registered, you can then go into here and you'll be able to see all the players that have signed up to play netball. And if somebody said they were going to play but you can't see their name, then they haven't completed the form, and you just need to chase them up and say to the parent, you need to fill this form out and send them the link again. You'll also be able to click on these little buttons here. Most of them for you will be not in a team, and basically there'll be little check boxes, and you can click on all the kids. So you might have created over here your primary 6-1 team, and all the players you've decided who are going to be in that 6-1 team, you just click, 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 and then you can just drag them all across into that team. And that's how you create the teams in the system and put the players into those teams. We do need the players to be registered in the team so that particularly year 4, 5 and 6, so that we know what team they're in and if they play up or down and all those sorts of things. And yeah, so is there any questions around this? This will look a bit different for you than it does for me, but when you log in, you will get your dashboard. You won't have all of this other stuff, but you will have the online registrations and your team builder. Any questions? No? And that's pretty much it. So I'm just going to see if I can just go back to the website. It's gone. Here's my Google. Here it is. Right, so sharing. Like I say, everything is on this page here. Like I say, I will send out more information as the weeks go on, but you hopefully now have enough info there to contact your parents and say, right, who wants to play netball this year? Coaches and managers should be registered on that form as well, your school form. These school forms. So, and then they should be allocated to the team as well, if you can, please, because then if we have to contact the team directly, could be we need to phone them if someone's defaulted and school's finished and we can't get hold of you, then we will contact the team directly. So it's good to have at least a coach or a manager registered in each team, so that we know who they are. No questions? No? That's pretty much it. Like I say, yeah, this time of the year, it's just getting everyone. Oh, right, now what time? I've got a question here about game time. Sorry, good question, and I will, I might put this up on the website. So most of our rounds, we start at 4 o'clock. It gives people enough time to get to the courts. So 4 o'clock, we do 50-minute rounds, 4 o'clock, 4:50, 5:20, 5:40, sorry, 6:30. We usually are done by the 6:30 round. At Hibiscus Coast, that'll be the same. We may do the year 6s slightly later, like we started them at 4:15 because we only had a couple of rounds of those year 6s at Hibiscus Coast, so we can do that. The year 1 and 2s who play inside at Northcote. Oh, sorry, somebody's got their mute. Year 1 and 2s at Northcote, they start at 4 and they only do 40-minute rounds, 4:40 and 5:20, I think it is, something like that. But up at Warkworth, we just start them at 4 and 4:50 and possibly 5, not for the year 1 and 2s, but we at Warkworth will probably do 4, 4:50, 5:20. Depending on how many teams we get registered up there, could be a 6:30 round. Any other questions? No? Cool. Yeah. Hopefully that helps you. Get in contact if you have any questions, particularly around the numbers of the sizes of the teams, if you find that you're struggling with that. And good luck. And I will be in touch as the term goes on. So 27th of March, don't forget, is the date that you need to have your teams registered by. All right. Pakite. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Teresa.
No worries.
Thanks.